If you think that Canon was on a tear with all their camera and lens announcements in 2020, they're about to take it to another level. Let's talk about what to expect from Canon's EOS R lineup in 2021. Hey guys, I'm Raphael and welcome to the channel where our goal is to always fix it in camera and then finesse it in post. And I always appreciate the early thumbs up because Canon is about to go gangbusters with the RF cameras in 2021, especially with their flagship cameras. Earlier this year, I did a video about Canon's master plan for this new lineup of EOS R cameras. And thus far, it's playing out nicely. And right on cue, they released their first cinema RF camera. So here's a roundup of what's shaping up to be an exciting 2021. Let's start with the EOS R5s, a higher resolution camera with a rumored pixel shift-like feature to add even more resolution, which is a method in digital cameras for producing a super high resolution image. The method works by taking several images in succession after each such capture, moving or shifting the sensor to a new position. This will build on the IBIS feature already in the R5. And if the hardware and sensor in the R5s is fast enough, it could produce images with a total resolution that could be north of 300 megapixels. Video features will not be a focus on the R5s. I expect it to capture similar specs to the current EOS R, heavily cropped 4K, and a slew of HD flavors. It will be a photographer-first camera. The next is the EOS R1, and I believe that this will be the new flagship 1DX replacement. It's rumored to have an all-new image sensor with a global shutter, 21 megapixel sensor for sports and wildlife shooters who need the performance. The fastest frame rate for a stills camera ever. I'm guessing it will be 24 frames per second for photo silent shooting mode. For the video specs, it'll hover around the 240 frames per second in HD, 120 in 4K, and a new rumored quad pixel autofocus system, which will perform better than the R5 and 6, and probably have some stellar low light capabilities, which will give the A7S a run for its money, and really to compete with the new Sony A9 coming out. Another camera I see coming out next year will be the R7, which will be an APS-C sensor that will succeed the 7D. And let's just assume that any EOS D series camera will get its R version next year, or at least it will begin the full transition, the same that Apple is doing with the new M1 chips in all their computers. And I feel there will be quite a few new entry-level cameras to help push new lenses, especially for the holiday season at the end of next year. The Canon EOS RP is also rumored to have a replacement. Another entry-level camera to be announced, said to be less expensive than the RP, but it's probably going to be in the naming convention of the R60, R70, or R80. Also expect a slew of new lenses for the APS-C sensors. Canon is following through on their master plan that I talked about last summer. The new mount leads to whole new camera bodies and lenses for a new generation of goods to sell to new and old customers. And they make way more margin on the lenses than they do on the camera bodies. For the Cine lineup, I expect a C50. Think of it as the C100 replacement. It won't have RAW, and it'll probably be limited to 4K 60 and HD at 120 with 8-bit recording. Because this is how most of the users of the C200 work with their camera. Most C200 users don't use the RAW function. It's rumored to have the same sensor technology as the R5, but with a 12 megapixel resolution. It will record up to 4K with 120 with no crop. There's also a lot of talk about a newly developed heatsink, and it'll probably be a really good low light performance camera, better than the EOS R5 and the R6. The other camera that is more than likely coming in 2021 is the C90. Now, think of it as the RF version of the C300, still a Super 35 sensor, but more whiz-bang. Now, I don't believe that the C90 will be Canon's new flagship cinema 8K camera. The C90 will probably live more in the 5K or 6K range as the RF Cine camera, and will also have internal RAW with CF express cards, potentially 12G SDI, or at least 6G for 4K over SDI. Canon will announce its top-of-the-line cinema camera next year, but it's definitely coming and it will definitely be 8K. And 2021 will also bring firmware updates galore. And I feel that Canon will have a big focus on heat management in 2021. 2020 was busy for Canon, and there was so much push and pull with Sony all year. And I see 2021 continuing this battle of the titans. But this video is only my thoughts on Canon's roadmap. And this doesn't even mention the new RF lenses from Canon, as well as the juicy rumor that Sigma will begin producing RF mount lenses in 2021. Which camera are you most excited about in 2021? For me, it's the Canon R1, which is a true replacement for the 1DX. So which camera is next on your wish list? Let me know your thoughts. As always, thanks for watching. Give this video a big thumbs up. Subscribe. I'm Raphael. I'll talk to you soon. Bye for now.